Hey everybody, just stopping in for a quick minute to say I hope you're getting prepared. Not trying to sound like I'm nagging. I'm not trying to be a mongerer, but stuff is happening. And I don't know if people are really paying attention to how serious things are right now, but in my area where I live in the Midwest, I've heard from people, we go to different shop at different stores and whatnot for our supplies and whatever we need. And um, some stores are kind of sparse in Minnesota anyway. I don't know what's happening in California. I can only go based upon what people in California say, or in Ohio, what they say, and in Ohio, they just have a lot of stores that are shutting down altogether, which is kind of scary, because those that rule the food kind of rule the world in a sense. Um, but in my area, things are kind of sparse in the store. Few kinds of dried beans, things like that. That was according to one person's report. My own shopping this week, I had a lot of difficulty finding some of the things that I wanted. The things that they had were like in an overabundance, but it was stuff that I normally don't eat a lot of. Although there weren't a lot of eggs. Um, so things are definitely progressing and changing. Um, and I also hand out food through some food shelf situations in the city. And from months ago, people were like, "Oh, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Stop asking me if I want this food." I was going to them like once a month, twice a month sometimes. Do you want this food? Your name is on a list. You have an opportunity to take this food for free. I don't care what you do with the food when you get it. Keep the part that you want. Maybe you have a relative or somebody that can use the other part. And people were just like really annoyed with me. And they were just telling me, take my name off the list. I'm tired of this. Lo and behold, now things have changed. People have come to me saying, okay, where's that food at? And I said, do you remember 8 months ago when you became very angry with me and said, take your name off the list? There's like consequences to that because whenever I report back to where the free food is coming from that I'm trying to give you, they said, give it another couple of tries and then they took your name off the list. So now if you're wanting to try to get the food again, you have to sign up all over again and maybe next month you'll be added back to the list. And of course, the food that's available now isn't the same as how the food was before. Um, it's some of the same items, especially like for those commodity boxes, but there's some things that are no longer in the boxes. Some things that are just plain not there. You can't find like your canned salmon and stuff like that. Canned salmon. You might get lucky and find some canned tuna or canned chicken or whatever, but there may be a supply shortage as far as metals, so then that means that the canning of certain products may be coming to a halt. Don't take my word on it. I mean, you're welcome to Google and figure all that out yourself. But a lot of the things like beef stew and the chicken, those things are coming in like a foil bag pack thing now instead of in the cans. Um, so it's packaged differently and probably of a different quality. But, you know, that's just kind of how it is right now. And where before they were given lots of the dried beans and the rice, there's now no rice in the packages, or from what I've noticed over the past couple of months anyway. There's been no rice in the packages, and it's been several months since I've seen any dried beans in the packages. But if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that around the beginning of summer, I was talking about the issues with the supply chain and how a third of what usually gets harvested was able to be harvested this year because there was a lot of bacteria and whatnot, and a lot of food was damaged. Um, and so it just makes it hard, which is why I keep saying prepare, 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 which I've been saying for years. And um, thank you all for joining me, by the way. I know I don't have a huge subscriber base, but I do appreciate you joining me, and I hope that if you're not subscribed yet, that you'll consider subscribing to my channel if you find my content helpful at all, in any way at all. And I hope that you'll give a thumbs up and like the video because that helps with the YouTube algorithm so that more people that are interested in this type of content will actually find it and be able to connect and share it with other people that you know that may be interested. You know, I had mentioned the other day I'm working on a website where I will have information in separate sections where if you're wanting to look about how to put together your bug out bag or dehydrating foods, and this is Danette's kitchen, so of course I'm going to talk about things like dehydrating foods and recipes for how you can make some things at home so that way you're like, hey, this is pretty cool. I can make something that I can enjoy with my family and make it quick, easy, and it'll be delicious, something that you can really enjoy. Making a pear cake or uh, some stir fry or pot stickers or whatever. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments section of what kinds of things that you're interested in me showing and sharing and preparing for you. Um, and if there are no comments down there, then I will continue to share the current news of the day, food recalls, what's going on in the supply chain, and how it's important to not be a lone wolf. We need to build community, work together, know your neighbors, and know your skill sets and assets and where your gifting is so that you can work together to meet a common need and make sure that you're prepped up for yourself. I mean, you can't like save the whole world, but you can prep for yourself. And if you have a specific skill, you can help somebody else learn about that skill so that they can get their stuff together because things are already decreasing little by little, as I've mentioned before. And like I mentioned today, that people are becoming kind of bitter about not being on the food list now when for all those months they were saying, I don't want it. I don't want it. Get away from me. Get away from me. Take my name off the list. Okay, your name's off the list. By the way, all the people that were still on the list are getting these food coupons that they could use to get free fresh produce. And if you go on certain days, you can get double the amount for those amount of food coupons. And to me, that was like a winner, a game winner right there because people could get lots of greens and onions and garlic or tomatoes or whatever and learn how to can stuff. They could can stuff, they could dehydrate stuff, and they can keep part of it fresh so that they have that fresh food to eat too. Your food is your medicine, and if you eat right, it helps you to have the energy that you need. It helps you so that you'll be able to make it through your day and do all the things that you need to do. Food can be your medicine. Yes, truly. But it's also important to have your immune system built up, which happens with eating the right foods. If you're eating a whole lot of processed stuff, you're going to be more likely to not be as healthy because processed foods can cause higher blood pressure, higher cholesterol levels. Processed foods can cause heart conditions. Like I used to have a fairly serious heart condition. I was eating processed everything pretty much. And when my doctor told me the changes that I needed to make for my own personal health, that's what I did. And it took a while. It took about 3 years. But now things have turned around the opposite way, which is awesome. But, you know, if you haven't started prepping, please, please, please start prepping. Even if you just go to the store and buy a couple of bags of frozen vegetables, whatever you may be able to find in your store. If you don't have the room in the freezer for the frozen vegetables, what I do is I bring them home and I put them on my dehydrator, which you can also do in the oven. And let me know if you've missed any of those videos, and I'll be happy to do another video on how to do that and the oven settings and all that. Dehydrated peas. This is like 4 cups worth of fresh peas and a cup and a half of sliced carrots, and I dehydrated it, and so I've got peas and carrots that'll be put up, and it ends up being 4 cups worth. I believe it's 4 cups worth. 2.5 cups worth, which this will last me quite a while. I had a sack of onions that were not on the recall list. Um, about 8 or 9 onions. Peel that brown outside off, sliced them, separated the rings, put it on my dehydrator, and as I said, you can also do this in the oven between 250 or 300 degrees, slowly drying it out so that it takes the moisture out but doesn't ruin the quality of the product. But I have a food dehydrator, putting that on there, and now this is that entire sack of onions sliced up and in here. So in the winter, when I'm making my soups and my stews, my lasagna, whatever, I can take out what I need and use that. If I want an onion powder, I can take some of that out, put it in a blender, blend it down into a powder, and then sprinkle and add it in for flavor. If you've got garlic, you can take the garlic, peel off the outside, pull off one of the cloves, slice the cloves, dehydrate it, and if you do like entire head of garlic, you can have that and put that away for the winter. That makes me very happy because I have my spices that I need for the winter. You can do the same thing with red peppers and save those things that you get. You know anybody that does any uh, outdoor gardening, any urban gardening, or people in the country or wherever that may have an overabundance of stuff, or maybe their stuff is starting to get a little too big and they need help clearing out the garden before the seasons change? Offer to help. If you got time and energy and you're able to, offer to help in exchange for getting some of that produce. Because then you can take the produce home. You can put part in the refrigerator to have fresh. Part of it can be dehydrated, or you can do canning with part of it if you've got the mason jars and the supplies to do that. You know, I went out looking for mason jars at one store yesterday. Didn't find any. So I'm going to have to go back out this week and see if I can find a few more mason jars because I do like having my stuff either in the mason jars or like my dried beans and split peas and all that kind of stuff. Those things I get um, and just keep them in the bag. And I put the bags. I'll do a video on that again. How I save those and the coffee can in the metal coffee cans. And it's hard to find the metal coffee cans right now because, like what I said earlier, there's a shortage on some of those supplies. So a lot of the coffee right now is being sold in plastic round containers or those sack-like foil containers that you rip the top off and then you scoop out your coffee. But there are still products that are being sold in metal cans, like the Nido milk, or you might be able to find some freeze dried or dehydrated products from um, different preparedness groups. Once you've used the products in the container, don't throw out the container. Wash it out good, clean it up, let it dry out, and recycle it by putting those sacks of beans or sacks of rice in there and put the lid on it. Why am I using those metal containers? Because the seasons are changing and the little furry critters from outdoors are wanting to come indoors now. So if they're mice or squirrels, and in some areas, I was just reading on the news today, some areas, even in my city, there are rat infestations. But yeah, mice and squirrels will try to find a way in, and it only takes a little space for them because their little bodies can just smash down and go right up under that space because they're looking for warmth and they're looking for food. And you don't want the food to just be out there where it's like, welcome in to my restaurant, eat whatever you want, and have babies. You want it to be put away and stored in a way where it's inaccessible to them. And if it's in one of those tin cans with the lid, it makes it more inaccessible. So that's just my little opinion on that because you don't want to make it easy for critters to think they've got a new home. But I hope you're doing well. And I hope you all are preparing. I hope you're getting to know people in your community. Um, and there are different groups out there that are starting to bundle and come together. People with different skill sets. Like, I don't know if you've watched Canadian Prepper or um, you know, urban prepper and, city prepping guy. They're coming together and building kind of like a faction so that they can work together to build a stronger community because we're all working for a common good. The prepared homestead is also um, doing that as well, and they've built up their network, and I'd suggest that you check out their pages as well. They've built up their network and they have different people in different states that are all, like minded and working towards that same common goal so that way people can talk, meet up, discuss things, learn new things from each other so you can build up your skill set, know where there is problems in the supply chain and be ready to barter and work together so that we can all meet that common common need and common goal. I'm gonna I think I'm gonna stop talking for now. But I wanted to get on and talk about the importance of being prepared and dehydrating, even if you're just doing a little bit every day. If you can get a few canned goods, get the few canned goods. If you have pets and you're thinking, man, pet food is so high, how am I gonna get extra pet food? Blah blah blah. See what you're able to get. Get your regular pet food, but see if you can go to the Dollar Tree or Dollar General or Family Dollar or Myers or wherever that's in your area to pick up some cans of pet food, sacks of pet food, or something, just even to have on the side, even if it's something that's not your regular brand for your pet, just to have a little bit on the side in case things kind of break down even more or quicker than what we expect, because I do believe it's going to be a dark winter. You can already see things happening. And like if you're on the road and you're coming up to a railroad track, a railroad crossing, if a train is coming, the lights blink and you hear ding, 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 and the arm comes down to protect you from getting out there and getting hurt. The lights are blinking, theoretically speaking. That's where we are right now. The lights are blinking. There are shortages out there. And no, not everybody is experiencing or seeing the shortages at the same time. But when I first noticed it, especially with the toilet paper, man, when I went into a particular store, which I did a video on that one too a few months back. I hope you check it out. And all there was like 2 packs of toilet paper, and it was a brand I didn't even use, and it was expensive. It was very expensive for toilet paper. And I thought, man, I'm stuck. I better get this toilet paper. And I know I laugh about it right now because I laughed about it last year when people were like, woo! And everybody's running all over the place and trying to get all the toilet paper. Some people went overboard, let's face it. But, um, yeah, I went through that. And then I went back to the same store the very next week and they had toilet paper. But then I looked in other areas and the refrigerated section was quite bare. Like 50 to 60% less food in the refrigerated area than what they usually had. And I thought, well, this is weird. Then I went to another store. Oh, they've got toilet paper. I better just grab a roll just to be safe, don't want to be tripping. I'm going to grab this roll. I took that roll, and the next thing I know, there was a big old empty space behind it. So they were having everything kind of front line, big empty space behind it. And that's when I said, oh, things are a little more serious than I thought. And then I started going out to different stores just to look and see what was really going on, what they had. I would go to a store and just say, okay, I'm going to just look for soy sauce today. Boop, just random thing, soy sauce. Soy sauce has always been easy to find. And this was a big name chain that I went to. And I walked up and down the aisles and I looked and I looked and I looked and I could not find not one bottle of soy sauce. Went to another uh, store another time. I needed some hair care products. I mean, look, I've got this. So yeah, I needed some hair care products to try to keep me to not look like a woolly bear all the time. Couldn't find what I needed. I did end up finding like one container of hair care product that was not a type that I would use, and it didn't work very well on my hair either. So I was looking pretty rough for a few weeks. But um, things are changing, and it's slow to get stuff if you're ordering online. If you're planning on doing your holiday shopping, like they've been saying for a few months, they said, do it now. You might want to do it now. But I'd say do it on the cheap, cheap. And because if you really care about people, caring about people is more about caring about people and not about going for broke. Because this is a time when you need to be wise and stock up what you need, put back a little extra cash because we don't know what's really about to happen here. Got a pretty good idea, but it's good to stock up and have that little bit of extra put back. So, as I say, try to do that. Get cute little things that people like and be creative with how you put everything together and find times and ways of building togetherness with your family and community, with your friends in a safe, healthy, non-Rona kind of way. Um, it's just a different time that we're living in, and we seriously have to be prepared. So I hope that you're making efforts to be prepared for yourself and not assuming that you can just pop out to the store every day and you're going to magically find exactly what you want, because things are drying up. And just like those people were very upset with me today because they weren't able to get something that they had kind of taken for granted that was just going to be available to them whenever they felt like it. Um, I think that we're all in for a rude awakening coming up very soon. So you take care, and I'll talk to you again soon.